Hi guys, welcome to day 4 of health. We are going to cover very quickly how to set up your own fitness routine. And we're going to talk a lot today about target heart rate, and then we're going to head to the gym in about 15 minutes to practice figuring out our target heart rate and practice figuring out the intensity of exercises so we have a better idea of how to create our own exercise program. Okay, so we're going to jump right in so that this video doesn't take too long so that we can get going here. All right, so our warm-up today says, why is setting an activity or exercise routine important? So tell me, why do you think it's important for you to set up an activity or exercise routine? Okay. So yesterday we learned about the FIT principle. So we're going to use that FIT principle today, and we are going to discuss how to set up an activity exercise program that is right for you. So obviously it's different for everybody, and not everyone is going to enjoy the same types of exercise or want to do the same types of exercise. So that's kind of our goal today, is figure out a program that's good for you and something that you can continue to do once PE is over. All right, so step 1 is obviously frequency. And before we get started, the only stuff that you need to write down today, so listen to the video, obviously that's super important, but the only things that you need to write down are the definitions that are highlighted in pink. In writing down the steps, like step 1, frequency, step 2, intensity, step 3, writing those down is a good idea also, but that's all you need to write down. The other stuff is just there for us to kind of talk about as we go through the video. Okay, so writing down the stuff in pink and the stuff in orange. Other than that, you don't need to write it down. Okay, so step 1 is frequency. How often and what days are you available to be active, or complete an exercise session? So how often, what days are you available to be active or to complete an exercise session? So you want to think of this, you want to look at a calendar. So like you would pull out your calendar, maybe get on your phone and you say, okay, Monday I have basketball practice, so I'm already going to maybe be exercising. Tuesday I have choir practice. Wednesday I have nothing. Thursday I have nothing. So you can say, oh, you know what? Really good days for me to set up an activity or exercise program are Wednesday and Thursday, because I don't have anything going on those days. So I can really devote some time to exercise. And you can like pick a specific time on those days, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But so that's your first step, is figuring out how many days can you exercise? How many days can you commit? How many days do you want to commit to being active? Okay, so this says here, how often should a preteen be active? So if we remember back to our notes yesterday, it was 7 days a week for 60 minutes, which is a lot, but it's also stuff that you would be doing at home, and we'll get into that in just a minute. What does my schedule look like? What days am I actually able to exercise? What days can I fit in some activity? Remember, exercise and lifestyle activity are different. And then how many days do I want to exercise versus how many days do I want to have be activity days? So for me and for my kids, we really focus, and they play a lot of sports, so they are getting activity in every single day, because I do think it's important that you are active in some regard every day. But we do 2 days of exercise every week on top of their practices, where we go out and we do family run of some kind. And then we do 2 just activity days where we're just going on a fun bike ride. So we're not like doing the bike ride to like sweat and go really fast and make it hard like our run days. The bike ride is just something that's fun. We go out and do. It's more of a lifestyle activity for us. We enjoy going out together and riding bikes. So that's the difference between exercise and activity. Okay, so when you're thinking of your frequency, think of how many days you want to be as exercise days, where like you're going out with the intention of having a high intense exercise, and you're going to do that with the purpose of becoming more fit. Whereas you might have activity days where you and your friends go on a walk, or you and your mom ride a bike, or do something a little bit less intense but still good for your body. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2 is intensity. Now this is where we get into needing to know our stuff. So knowing when and why you want to increase your intensity. And you can only do that through your target heart rate. So this is what we're writing down. Target heart rate is the range that your heart should be beating during exercise for maximum cardiovascular endurance. So you have a range that your heart rate should be beating. Your heart should be beating this number of times per minute in order to ensure that you are meeting your maximum cardiovascular endurance threshold. Okay, so that is target heart rate. And you got a little half sheet of paper that looks like this. And we're going to figure out our target heart rate now. Okay, so we're going to be calculating this. So do this on the half sheet of paper that I handed out in class. Okay, and it looks just like this. Pull this back a little bit so that I can write on it while you guys are watching. Okay, so step 1 says take 220 minus your age. So I'm going to pretend like I'm 11. So my age is 11. 220 minus my age is 209. Okay, so whatever your age is, 12, 10, 13, take 220 minus your age. That's your maximum heart rate. Okay. Then you need to figure out the vigorous zone, which is vigorous exercise, of your target heart rate. That's 70 to 85% of your maximum heart rate. So our maximum heart rate we already know is 209. So that's the answer from step 1 is 209. Okay. And we're going to multiply that by 0.70. And we're just going to do this on a calculator. So you can get out a calculator or you can find one on your Chromebook. So well, it helps if we turn it on, right? 209 times 0.70 equals 146.3. So that is, and we can round this to 146 if we want to, okay? And then we're going to also take our same answer from step 1, and we're going to multiply by 0.85. Okay, this is the high end of our zone. So 209 times 0.85 equals 177.65. So we'll just round that up to 178. So our vigorous zone is 146 heartbeats per minute to 178 heartbeats per minute. So 146 to 178, that's our vigorous zone. Let's do our moderate zone. Our moderate zone is a little bit easier because we already have one answer, because we're going to go to 0.70 again, which we did on our last sheet, which was 146.3. So we just have to take it by, so we're taking our answer from step 1 again, which is 209. Okay, that's 220 minus your age, and you are multiplying now by 0.50. So you're basically taking 209 and doing it in half. 209 times 0.50 equals 104.5. So we'll just round that up to 105. So that's your moderate zone. Okay, so when you're exercising, if you want to know if you're getting moderate exercise or vigorous exercise, you need to track your heart rate. Moderate exercise is 105 to 146. Vigorous exercise is 146 to 178 as your heart rate zone. Okay, so when the exercise is starting to feel more easy, so when you're only getting into the moderate heart rate zone, that's when you know it's time to increase the intensity of your exercise. Okay, so you need to also know your resting heart rate. Your resting heart rate is the number of times your heart beats in 1 minute while at rest. So we're going to practice taking our resting heart rate, and we'll do this in the gym in just a minute. But you'll find right here on your neck, okay, so like kind of come down. It's like right next, it's not on your throat, it's just like in this empty space right here. If you push with 2 fingers, not your thumb, 2 fingers, you'll be able to count your heartbeats. So it's the number of times your heart beats in 1 minute while at rest, okay? Average is somewhere between 60 and 90. The lower your heart rate, the stronger your heart is, okay? The recovery heart rate, remember you're writing this down also, is how long it takes for your heart to return to normal, your normal heart rate after you exercise. So if your normal heart rate, when we do our resting heart rate, if you count and your normal heart rate is like 70, and you get your heart rate up to 146 while you're exercising, how long does it take to get back down to 70? That's your recovery heart rate. Okay, so that's what it means for your heart to recover, to go back to normal. All right, the shorter amount of time, the stronger your heart is. Okay, so step 3 is time. How many minutes or hours do you want to exercise? Step 4 is type, and we talked a lot about types yesterday. So keep these different things in mind, all the different components of fitness or skill-related fitness. What type of exercise do you want to do? And then the last step is adding a warm-up and a cool-down, okay? The warm-up is what you do at the beginning of the workout to get your blood and oxygen flowing to your muscles and raise your body temperature. Some examples are dynamic stretches, walking, or jogging. And then cool-down is what you do at the end of a workout to bring your heart rate back to normal. It helps break up the lactic acid that is built up in your muscles so you aren't sore the next day. Okay, some examples are walking, static stretching, which is when you stand still and stretch, like bend down and touch your toes, or bring your arm across your body and hold it. That's static stretching. Okay, another form of the cool down is to complete whatever exercise you're doing at a slower pace. So if you're riding your bike, you just slow it down. If you're on the elliptical, you just slow it down. Okay, this last part here is an example of a 16-year-old. Okay, remember the guidelines say doing 60 minutes a day of moderate to vigorous activity. So he gets this in. This is a sample week for when school's not in session. Monday and Wednesday, he's got dog walking and plays basketball. Tuesday and Thursday, also dog walking. He's doing some tennis. Friday, he's playing Frisbee with friends. Chores can also count, as you see here, as moderate exercise. So on Saturday, he vacuums and cleans. And then he also rides his bike. And Sunday, playing an active video game would be something like the Wii or like the PlayStation Connect, where it's like you're up and moving. You're like playing the game in real, like you're dancing, like the Just Dance or something like that, or like the Wii bowling or something. And then he does some body weight exercises. Okay, so that's a sample, and I'm gonna put up also for you to look at some other examples of exercises that would be considered. These are like the moderate intensity exercises. These would be vigorous intensity exercises. So I'm going to put up some examples on the page for you to look at also, so that if you want to, you can go back and see those things. And I'm going to end with this before we get ready to go. So let me turn it around. I think it's easier to read this way. Okay. The key guidelines for school-age children and adolescents, so this is 6 through 17-year-olds, 60 minutes or 1 hour of moderate to vigorous physical activity daily. Most of the 60 minutes or more per day should be either moderate or vigorous intensity, and you should have at least vigorous intensity exercise at least 3 days a week. Okay? Muscle strengthening, at least 3 days a week. Bone strengthening, at least 3 days a week. Muscle strengthening is weights, so like push-ups and sit-ups and any like pull-ups, any body weight exercises that helps with muscular strength and just muscular endurance too. Those things making your muscles stronger. Bone strength comes from jumping, plyometrics, meaning like changing direction quickly, jumping jacks, jumping rope, tennis where you stop and change directions, basketball. Those are bone strengthening activities. Okay, my video is a little longer than I wanted it to be for us to get out of here in 15 minutes, so I might give us an extra day to finish this if you don't get done. So those 5 definitions that were in pink: resting heart rate, target heart rate, recovery heart rate, those should be in your notebook. Warm up and cool down. Those are the 5 things that you need to get down for today. And then we're going to head to the gym in just a minute, and we are going to practice learning how to take our target heart rate and see what kind of exercise is moderate and vigorous for us. All right, bye guys.